Do you have any heroes?
Oh, yes.
Who you do?
Many.
Really?
Yes, many.
Who are they?
I suppose the great, well, there are the, in England, Churchill is, I know he's a little out of fashion with a lot of young people, who send him up a lot, and I'm an abject hero, worshiper of Winston's. And I think the greatest man I ever met was George Marshall.
Really?
Everything that I would human being like to be myself or like everybody to be. He was just.
Yes.
One night, we were at a big dinner, a banquet. All the brass. The war was still on. I was the only civilian who was going to sit on the dais, as we call it in America. And there was the admirals and everybody else, and Mr. Roosevelt was going to be wheeled in a moment, and we were waiting, and it was in the Mayflower Hotel, and the door opened, and a GI looked in, just by accident. He opened the door, and he saw George Marshall, who was the highest-ranking officer in the world. He said, "You're General Marshall." Now, Marshall didn't know anybody was watching this. I was, because everybody was having drinks and talking. I just happened to be watching. He said, "Yeah, come in, son." And he went off in the corner with the boy, who was an ordinary GI, and sat talking with him for 15 minutes, and sent the boy home. Now, there are not many generals of the Army who could do that with simplicity and without the slightest hint of demagoguery or playing. He didn't think one of us was admiring him for being a human being. And he was such a human being that little boy from the prairies of Kansas or wherever instantly saw that he could talk to him without embarrassment. As he could never have talked to his major or to General MacArthur.
Or to Patton, though.
Oh, certainly not to Patton, not unless he had his guard up.
I asked you that question about heroes, actually, because I know...